Alright, hi everyone, welcome back to Steam Flow, the channel dedicated to all things Steam. Now the Steam Spring Sale 2025 is nearing the end, and if you're still looking for great games, I've got some under 10 euros that run well on the Steam Deck. I think these are some of the best games, and I'll be covering FPS, performance, battery life on the OLED Steam Deck and everything you need to know before buying. This is actually the final video in my series covering the best Steam Deck games during this sale. If you haven't yet, be sure to check out my previous 4 videos where I cover different price ranges so you can find the perfect game for your budget. Now without further ado, let's jump right into this final one. Now first we have Prey, which is 80% off for €5.99. This sci-fi thriller has you fighting off aliens in a space station, and on the Steam Deck you'll get a smooth 60 FPS on medium and high settings with about 2 hours and 30 minutes of battery life on the OLED, which is plenty of time to lose yourself in this creepy atmosphere. Next, we're jumping down from space and going right back in time with Mafia Definitive Edition at 80% off for €7.99. This is a classic open world game set in the 1930s. It's best locked at 30 FPS, even though it can reach 40 FPS most of the time on lowest settings. It will be better if you cap it at 30 FPS, and battery life is around 2 hours and 30 minutes at these settings. And this is a must-play game. It's a very good remaster of the original game, and you can definitely have a good experience with it on the Steam Deck. Next up, we have Mass Effect Legendary Edition at 90% off €5.99. This iconic RPG lets you save the galaxy while running at a solid 60 FPS on high settings, and you get 3 games for €5.99, and you can get between 2 hours and 3 hours of playtime depending on which of the 3 games you choose to play. But this is a steal at this price. Next up, I have Bioshock Infinite 75% off for €7.49. This first-person shooter with its incredible world building and narrative story runs smoothly at 60 FPS, but the battery life will top out at 2 hours and 30 minutes. Still, I think that's plenty of time for you to get immersed into a classic Bioshock action. By the way, did you know that only 3.3% of you are actually subscribed? Subscribing is free and it helps the channel a ton. You can also click the notification bell so you never miss an upload. A big thanks to everybody who decides to do that. Next up, we have Halo, the Master Chief Collection, 75% off for $9.99. Whether you're revisiting Halo 1 or Halo 4, this pack has 6 games to enjoy. It runs great on the Steam Deck and it will last you at least 3 hours of battery life regardless of which game you play. Now if survival is your thing, Valheim is a must-play at 50% off for $9.99. It runs between 45 and 60 FPS. Depending on the scene. If you build a big base, it might drop even below 40 FPS, but most of the time it will run smooth enough to be enjoyed. It has around 3 hours and 15 minutes of battery life, but keep in mind that this game is best enjoyed in a multiplayer setting, and that can bring down the battery life a little bit. Next up, we have Risk of Rain 2 at 67% off for €8.24. This roguelike shooter runs at 60 FPS on medium and high settings, giving you almost 4 hours of battery life. My next suggestion is Hades 1, which is 60% off for €9.80. This fast-paced action roguelike runs beautifully at 60 FPS, and you get over 4 hours and 15 minutes of battery life. It's perfect for long sessions, and is the cheaper option out of the 2 games. It's definitely a must-check. If you're a fan of roguelike card games, Slay the Spire is 75% off for €5.74. This indie darling runs at 60 FPS for 8 hours, but if you drop it to 30 FPS, you'll get a staggering 11 hours and 30 minutes of battery life. I've never actually seen a game reach that high of a number of battery life on the Steam Deck. This is definitely one to check out. And finally, we have Deep Rock Galactic at 67% off for €9.89. You can team up with friends to mine and fight in caves while running at 60 FPS on medium settings. The game does feature FSR upscaling, so it runs beautifully on the deck, and battery life will be around 3 hours and 30 minutes. That's it for my top 10 games under €9.99 on the Steam Deck. Thanks so much for watching this series, and if you missed any of the other videos, I recommend checking them out. And if none of these games are of interest to you, I do have a video on how to actually find good deals yourself. I'll link that in the corner and you can check it out, and maybe you find some hidden gems that I missed. Let me know which games you're grabbing, and I'll catch you in the next video.